Hello everyone, welcome to lecture 2 of module 1. So today's lecture is on the role of social support and relationships in promoting well-being. So I am Amandeep Saikia and I am a clinical psychologist. So in the previous lecture we spoke about adolescence and how it is a critical period of life in human development. We also understood how it is kind of a bridge between childhood and adulthood. So we explored different challenges that adolescents go through at this stage, like challenges and also developments like cognitive development, emotional development, and certain mental health challenges. So when I'm talking about challenges in terms of mental health, so over the years we have seen a rise of depression and anxiety in adolescents. So the role of social support and relationships become pivotal in discussing. So today's lecture will be exploring this and see how it influences the development of adolescents. So when we are talking about social support, it comes in a spectrum and there are different types of social support. So we have emotional support, we have informational support, and then we have instrumental support. So when we talk about emotional support, we can understand it as when someone is providing a sense of care, empathy. So for example, if a parent is providing a listening ear to their child when they're going through a difficult time, or when a friend is listening to their friend in a non-judgmental way, this can be understood as an emotional support. So when we are talking about the second type, that is the informational support, that is when someone is providing information, a sense of guidance to the adolescent. So for example, if a friend, a peer is providing last minute tips to their friend before an exam, or a mentor is providing sense of guidance to the adolescent, it is called informational support. Then the third is instrumental support. So that is kind of a support in which one is aiding, one is helping the person to finish their task. So for example, if a parent is helping the child when they are not well to just finish their chores, that is kind of an instrumental support. So while we are talking about social support, I cannot forget to mention the role of a very important model, that is the Bronfenbrenner's ecological model. So Bronfenbrenner gave the ecological model where he told that an individual is surrounded by different systems. So when we are talking about different systems of the individual, so he gave 5 distinct ones, 5 systems, that is the microsystem, the mesosystem, the exosystem, the macrosystem, and the chronosystem. So if we try to understand this in today's lecture, we'll understand that how these systems have a very big role in shaping this development of the adolescent, as well as provide social support. So now let us look at these things in a little more detail. So first I'll be talking about the immediate systems that shape or have an influence over the adolescent. The first is the microsystem. So the microsystem can be defined as the immediate environment of the person. So when we are talking about microsystem, it can be the parents, the siblings, the peers, the neighbors, or the teachers. Similarly, when we are talking about the mesosystem, it can be understood as the interaction between the microsystems. So suppose the peers are interacting with the family member, or the family is interacting with the teacher or the professor. So that is called the mesosystem. Then we will go to the next 3 systems which are not having an immediate direct control but has some influence. So these 3 systems that I'll be discussing now has more of an indirect influence and a broader influence. So the first is the exosystem. So exosystem can be understood as the indirect environment of the adolescent. So for example, the parents' workspace can be an exosystem. Then we have the macrosystem. So macrosystem is more like a cultural blueprint. So the person, the adolescent, wherever they stay, the laws that are followed or the cultural values that are followed can have a very influence over the child's development, and that can be understood as the macro system. Then we have the chrono system, so it can be understood as the time and transition. So any big transition in the person's life, suppose their parents got a divorce, or maybe they shifted cities, or the broader influence of technology over the adolescent's life, they can be understood as the chrono system. Now, as I told you about the different types of systems and what they mean, we can understand how the immediate system of the individual has the biggest role to play, and hence I'll be talking about it in a bit more detail. So the first, as I said, the microsystem has the parents, the siblings, the peers. So let us talk a little bit about that. So the first, I'll be focusing on the role of family support. So when we are talking about family, the intervention of parents play a very big role. So parents are the biggest role model of the child, and they can act as a buffer for external stressors. So when there is a positive relationship, positive relation between the parent and the child, it helps the child deal with their any mental health challenge or any stress that they are going through, as well as they improve the sense of self-esteem and self-worth. So along with parents, this is one layer. But another layer that plays a big role in the family is the role of siblings. So when I'm talking about siblings, many researchers have shown, researchers specifically focusing on female adolescents have shown that if an individual has a sister, it helps in emotional resilience and the sense of company, or the person feels that they have someone of, if the age gap is not much, the sense that they can share and have a hearing ear to them. So having a family, and having a family with healthy relationship with the parents and the siblings have a very important role in the social support. Then the second, as I said, in the microsystem is the peer relationship. So I remember even in my previous lecture, I focused on how adolescence as a phase of life, like different theories have shown that this is a period when certain developments are happening. So it has been seen that adolescents are trying to move from authority figure and looking for independence. So as a result, they are moving from their parents to explore friendships. They're exploring different peer relationships. And as a result, the time that they spend with the peers have a lot of role in the development. So there are different, influences they have. Of course, friends will have a very, big role to play in terms of social support, where the adolescent is able to express their challenges with their friends, are able to, just observe. And many times it also happens that, peers, of course, they are of the same age, so they are sharing the challenges in a similar way. So by observing their peers, able to come out or to navigate through these challenges, the friends can help each other to, give advice. Also, in the last lecture, as I focused that adolescence is a time when, they are exploring their own self. So being with their peers help them explore themselves and also form an identity about the sense of self, who they are. So it's important to highlight that when we are talking about friendships, the quality versus quantity factor matters a lot. So even though it may seem very appealing to have a lot of friends, quality friendships matter in terms of social support. So someone who is having, high quality of friendships, they'll see that they're able to navigate through emotional challenges, difficulties, and in a positive way. So it's also seen that having high quality friendships are, the individual is able to form genuine companionship, a deep sense of security, and reciprocal help. So in a way, these connections will, help to provide reliable emotional support, mutual understanding, and a sense of belonging that can significantly enhance an individual's overall well-being and resilience. Then comes the role of mentors. So mentors can be, teachers or can be family friends. So they are the ones who will be offering invaluable direction, support and role modeling. So having a mentor will significantly impact an individual's personal and professional growth. So in terms of challenges, if an adolescent is having a mentor, then they will know where to reach out, where they can get a guidance. So even researchers have shown that positive mentoring relationships, improve this resilience in individuals. It also improves academic success and career advancement. So while we are talking about social support, building healthy relationships have a very big role. So while we are talking about building healthy relationships, there are certain skills that one has to, have, like empathy, open communication and crisis resolution. So let us look at it in a bit more detail. So while we are talking about having healthy relationships, as I said that the role of open communication is very important. So while we are talking about open communication, so the person should be able to share what they are thinking, should be openly able to express what is going on within them. Then comes the empathy. So let's understand what we mean by empathy. So empathy has two things. So it involves cognitive understanding, that is recognizing others' feelings, and the second is affective sharing, where they are vicariously feeling what others are feeling. So it has been found that a person who is empathetic is more emotionally resilient. So empathy also underpins pro-social behavior. So it promotes kindness, healthier relationships, conflict resolution and stronger social belonging, which is the key component in social support networks. Then the second thing that is very important while we are talking about social relationships or social support is emotional intelligence. So emotional intelligence refers to the ability to notice, understand and regulate one's own emotions and manage interpersonal feelings. So it has been seen, like researchers have shown, that adolescents who are having greater emotional clarity and repair, they report stronger social support from family and friends. So this in a way leads to higher life satisfaction and well-being. Emotional intelligence also mediates empathy's effect on resilience. So it acts as the key pathway through which empathy strengthens resilience in young adults, indicating its pivotal role in emotional adaptation. Now let us look at the interplay between empathy, emotional intelligence and social support. So the relationships between empathy and emotional intelligence are in a way mutually reinforcing. So someone who is having empathy, is having high empathy, that will in a way sharpen their emotional perceptiveness, which in a way will build their emotional intelligence. So when this is happening, it will improve the resilience and the mental health of the individual. It has also been found in researchers that someone with higher emotional intelligence is more aware of the support that is around them. And when an individual is aware of the support that is around them, like if the adolescent knows that okay, these are the support systems that are available, so they can even reach out when they need help. And knowing that they have a strong social bond, knowing where to reach out and reaching out in a way will also strengthen the mental health of the individual, will improve the resilience of the individual. Now let us look at the role of support networks in times of crisis. So when we are talking about crisis, it can come in any form at any time. So crisis can be understood as any difficult time when the person is not able to navigate, not knowing what to do and how to go about things. So social support plays a very big role then. So community, mentors and peer groups play a very critical role in providing this multi-layered assistance across the ecological system. So as I said about the Bronfenbrenner's ecological model, so the microsystem, as I said, has the strongest influence. So just being there, taking the support system during times of crisis can be very helpful in the development of the individual. So as we are talking about social support, institutional support also has a very big role, because the individual, the adolescent, they'll be going to school or college. So what the institution provides is also very important. So teachers, professors, school counselors, they contribute significantly to a supportive environment and in a way promoting social emotional learning in the individual, and also puts a positive relationship among students. So what can institutions do, or how can they contribute in this support system that we are trying to build, is by having certain structured programs for social emotional learning, where the student knows that they have access to counseling without judgment and that confidentiality will be maintained, and awareness regarding mental health and where they can reach out the moment they are taking the admission, or having regular workshops can really help. Also, creation of safe and inclusive learning environments will be helpful as well. So to summarize today's lecture, so we understood about the role of family, friends and the mentors, the microsystem form a critical pillar of social support, and it also fosters healthy relationships, empathy and resilience. So the Bronfenbrenner's ecological system theory offers a comprehensive framework for understanding how these multi-level influences interact to shape an individual's well-being. So with this, I end today's lecture. I thank you for attending, and I will meet you in the next lecture. Thank you so much.